A game from indie developer Jago138. As the name suggests, the game revolves around sniper mechanics, but the game falls into one big problem that lone developers do, and that is overreaching. Winning. The game offers sniper challenges which have you shooting targets. The challenge of the game comes from adjusting for wind and distance, using controls within the rifle to adjust your sight. Is this one dimension enough to hold down the game? If the game was so tight, then this could stand on its own, but I get the feeling that the game has not been built from the ground up, and the differences between holding your breath and not is so minor it raises question marks about why it was even put into the game. If it was built from the ground up, I would see maybe a bigger difference in this as something that the game has added, rather than maybe an optional variance that's come in a pre-made package that they just haven't adjusted very well. So what does this game add to the genre in these areas? And there's nothing which I can offer for an answer to that, really. But that was winning. Sinning. The game on top takes a weird twist from here, starting off as a first-person shooter, but then turning the game into a third-person shooting experience for the rest of the story game. This is where we fall from potential. The game is at best a collection of assets sorted, just being dropped onto the map like a child building with their first Lego, where their mum would say, "Oh, isn't it great?" But everyone she shows it to thinks, "I think I can make out what that is just about." I mean, it looks competent, it looks pretty, but there's just no thought to the placements of things. It's sort of like, well, there's a wall to stop you from looking around there, but there's no thought about how to use these assets or to go on it. But the prologue seems to offer some choices and thought, but it's a much smaller level with a different weapon in a different view. I don't think this good work will go forward, especially as the other levels are much bigger and seem to just have useless added space to them. The developer has managed to make a few different looking maps, and each thing in the map seems that it belongs. But where is the thought in trying to use something within the maps to add extra? Use what you have available to you and use it well. I mean, the game has towers in there, but the ladders don't work. So for a sniper game where the ladders don't work, you can't use the towers as viewpoints, which could be a point that would give you some choice in this map. How many towers do I go up to look for? How cautious am I compared to how far forward I go? But with such short levels, there is no point. And I know what you're saying there. I said the maps are big before, but the maps are big for the amount of content there is in them, which makes the game feel terrible. So in the first level you have one weapon, the prologue, to use a submachine gun of some type, of which has an unusable scope on it. Great thought for a game called Sniper. So you clear the building and save a hostage, and the game hints at something called the BLACKLIST, which again gives no mention to in the rest of the game. It just sort of drops the story there. Maybe early access woes. That's something that can easily be fixed. So moving on, with shooters you have so many options. You could go for a realistic, cover-based, bullet hell, so on. But this game seems to have taken that standard route of stupid AI, which only activates if you enter within an area near them. And if they see you, they'll shoot you. Even when shot, this guy gives no cares. As you can see, shoot, shoot, shoot. No, no, no. So two choices follow you. You go slow, or you learn where the enemy are. And as you cannot skip the starting introductions to levels, I would advise slowly, or you'll have to learn to love below par cutscenes. That's a little unfair, I guess, because the cutscenes are not bad and long, and for what seems to be an independent, the inclusion of them adds a little extra, which is welcome. But they're not really sewing the story together. There's no attempt at that. They're just a camera angle of the map, generally from above, with some very... as many of them seem to just be a camera angle from above, and don't seem to be taking this advantage to expand upon the Blacklist at all. So maybe just an old-fashioned approach of starting at the end of the level and zooming back through the level would maybe give your players something to consider about, but not even that much consideration has been given to you by the developer of this game. It's just what is standard. Alright, we'll do that. But the problem is competing with standard against AAA is standard will polish their AAA to fuck, whereas you have to innovate your game. So because so little care has been given to the environment or the layouts, you have two types of enemies essentially. You've got those which are in line of sight, which you can use your sniper rifle for, and the others that are just behind buildings. So as you're progressing slowly through the map, you just look left and right as you clear each area and just shoot before they shoot, essentially, is what the game comes down to. So long range kills in the game are not fun, as the one idea which holds up the sniper challenges is thrown away, as you need not to adjust for anything during the main game, just aim and shoot. So no adjustment for wind, or no adjustment for height. And again, this is a game called Sniper, where the pistol is probably just a quicker weapon to sniper with than the sniper. So the other two weapons, you have a pistol, which is useful, and a machine gun, which you might as well use like a pistol because they have taken the choice of not being able to handle the recoil at all. So again, not giving a choice to players about how they choose to play. The short range fights boil down to learning which side of approaching activates them and go around the other way, or just spray around the corner. But we have a problem here due to the assets dropped environments. The hitboxes of the objects are all over the place, so shooting invisible walls all over each object and just enjoy it. Because you can't hide behind objects, you've got to go into the open in a game called Sniper. So this is all in third person. There is also another part of the game which is the open world travelling. But I'm not sure of this because of early access, but there are two scenes that require you to hold forward and wait for too long till you just arrive at your destination. One being a horse, one being a helicopter. I don't understand why these are here. Okay, they work, but what is going to become with them? Air fights, world exploring, it's two more things to add on top of a game which excels in no area and takes work away from the sniping challenges, which could be the only part of this game which can be saved. I mean, if you also take those sniping challenges in a game called Sniper and implement that into a main game where there's some movement and choices from where you're taking your shots, this game could actually work. So would I recommend it? Well, if you're the sort of person who turns up at Poundland and buys four crap games for £1, then maybe this is for you. But for those who are after something worthwhile, then I would say not to even bother. To keep an eye on this one with so many weak areas and no sense of direction. I have no faith in the developer with what they have given me to look at. It's just a bunch of mini games thrown together and sort of reminds me of early gaming's film licenses. But then again, if you want to hear things like that, you'd be subscribed to Barry Lundy. But anyway, if you want a few laughs, the early access stuff is at the end. I'd like to thank you everyone for your patience and enjoy the world.